The University of Detroit Mercy presents another brand new episode of Ask the Professor, the radio show on which you match wits with University of Detroit Mercy professors in an unrehearsed session of questions and answers. Today's program was recorded using Zoom video conferencing technology.
The University Tower chimes ring in another session of Ask the Professor, the show in which you match wits with University of Detroit Mercy professors in an unrehearsed session of questions and answers. I'm your host, Matt Mayo. Let me introduce to you our panel for today. It's Professor Dave Chow.
Pleasure to be here, as always.
You were very diligent. I see the top of your head. It's like that means you're drawing or writing things down. Yeah.
Or filling out the timesheets for the show.
Exactly.
As I build another mound that I will drop off with you to hand over to Michael eventually.
That's right. That's exactly right. Still haven't brought that envelope over to Michael, but sooner or later.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Jeez, that thing's like what, a foot thick now, is it?
It is. There's a lot of papers in there.
I was going to say, good Lord. That's like a small tree.
No.
So,
Professor Stephen Manning is here with us today.
Good afternoon.
What's going on?
Not much. I just stop and think. I was
That's
on the
all right.
phone for an hour with Aetna, the insurance company.
Well, that's
today.
pleasant.
Ugh.
Terrible. It's terrible.
Yeah, of course.
It's terrible getting answers for simple things.
Ay,
Right.
ay, ay.
Can I do this? Yes or no? Just tell me.
Well, we don't actually have a healthcare system in America. That's probably why there's
That's true.
difficulty getting answers to simple things.
Ay, ay, ay. And those are the uplifting words of Professor Manning.
Well, as at least connected to my last remark, because one of the reasons we don't have a healthcare system is because rich people and corporations would have to pay taxes, and we can't have that,
God forbid. God
Yeah.
forbid.
or at least too much, right? They can't pay too much.
Yeah. I don't even know. I don't even know what to say. Yeah. Let's see how these questions go before we go dive deeper into that. Yeah. Professor Mara Livesey is here. She's okay, everybody. She's okay.
I am okay, everybody. Just, I have Dave's amazing student renovating the kitchen, and it's going to be great.
That's cool. That is totally cool. There is something about living in your own home while the kitchen is being renovated is like one
That's
of the
gotta be
top
rough.
horrible things that can happen. But when it's done, it's just going to be so wonderful.
Terrible.
It will be. The day that we didn't have a sink or water was kind of odd, but once the plumbing was finished and we had a sink and water,
Yeah.
things are better.
There you go.
yikes.
Got to look at it as an excuse to order pizza, right? And you're not being lazy now. It's
There you go.
Constantly order
That's
out.
right.
Just order
I
out
have
pizza
to
now.
have buddies. That's right.
This is
It's so
necessity.
unfortunate. I have to order food every day this week and not cook. Oh,
And water, it's got to be safe and sterile. So you got to drink
drink
wine.
more
that's all.
wine,
Yeah.
I had my refrigerator in the garage for like 4 months.
Ooh,
What?
That's what it takes.
Eesh.
Wow.
Terrible.
This is the original wisdom of Professor Jeff Boats.
How's it going?
Pretty good. How are you doing, Jeff?
Not too bad. Better than last couple of weeks.
That's right. That's
Mm.
right. We were all thinking about you. And
Mhm.
as you question mark do your patriotic duty by contracting a virus, like I don't know what to say.
I didn't feel patriotic, but rather American.
I'm sure
Oh.
that you did not. Yes. That leaves us, last but not least, for the moment, with Professor Dan Maggio here with us today. Super excited, of course, as I always bring up about the Olympic curling that's coming.
No, I watched it the past couple nights.
Super
So
excited.
have all of
Has-
you been watching curling?
I know, I saw in the paper that we lost twice.
I did actually. Did I
Haven't
see?
we
I don't
lost
think I
twice?
saw an American game. I saw the Italians seem to be on
Mm.
a lot, which is all right.
I've seen all the American games and they're throwing pretty well, but I'm a little disappointed with Chris Pleiss' decision making. I think his strategy's been better in the past.
Uh-oh.
Mhm.
Here we
It doesn't
go.
cost.
Winter Olympics. I mean, this is some kind of a corridor of professional sports with the Super Bowl smack dab in the middle of the Winter Olympics. This is going to be a busy couple weeks here,
Thank God I didn't watch the Super Bowl, so I can watch the Olympics.
There you go. And of
So
course,
oh,
watch on CBC. Don't
Yes.
watch on American Broadcasting.
and you can give a short answer to this, but how is your house coming back?
It's a long story. And there's
Okay.
2 stories to that
Yeah.
long story.
All right.
Lately-
Well, I'll look forward to the long story sometime.
There
Yeah.
will be much garden partyage once everything is taken care of. It's sort of like Mara's kitchen, but it's every room instead of just the kitchen.
Yes.
The stately Mayo Manor will go up eventually. That's all.
That's right. Long distance joining us, Professor Diane Manica back from retirement. It's not like you're coming back to teach, but we're glad to have you here after having been such a long time panelist.
I don't have time to teach anymore.
You're busy. You're golfing a lot.
I have been too busy.
That's awesome.
But it's nice to be back and see everybody again. Thank you.
Yes, thanks for joining
good to
us,
see
Diane.
you.
My pleasure.
We really appreciate it. And of course, we are joined by our guest panelist, Sister Erin McDonald. She says that she doesn't know the answers to the questions, but I think she knows more than she's letting on.
Yeah, I just don't want to show y'all up too much. That's all. I'm trying to work my way slowly into the next edition of Nuns Having Fun here.
Quit your
And
sandbagging.
I just want you to know I found that there's a chapter here that is nuns riding motorcycles, and
Oh
they're
my
called
gosh.
Heaven's Angels.
Oh, so
Aw.
nice.
Different image than the one I saw watching Gonzo, the documentary about
Hunter S. Thompson.
Yeah.
Okay, I was gonna say, oh, what, the guy from Muppets? Oh,
I know. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
I'm aiming to top this chapter here. This is how it ends here. This is the end.
Oh, this is a high bar, I think.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Well, folks, as per usual, this is a program where you can send us questions regarding anything. It's been a while since we've had a set of questions regarding nuns or sisters. If you stump the panel,
on,
you win
people.
one of the prizes. And if you don't stump the panel, you win one of the prizes. You can send us the questions in a number of ways. You can email us at atp@udmercy.edu. Find us on Facebook and Instagram as long as their stock is still up. And listen on your favorite smart speaker by asking it to play Ask the Professor at University of Detroit Mercy. We have a set of questions. Dear panelists, ordinarily, I'd send in questions regarding TV and film, but this time around, I figured the topic of classic games would be appropriate for your show, seeing how panelists definitely like to play games. We do like to play games.
Oh,
tug of war.
Yeah.
Enjoy the
holy
following
roller.
questions, and I'll defer to Professor Miles' astute judgment as what he deems worthy of a passing grade. The bar is fluctuating during the pandemic, but let's just say 10 out of 10. Okay, here we go. Let's see if we can do it.
Good God, we do have to go to the bar. Oh,
Regards, Julie Elder, our longtime question sender from Poughkeepsie, New York. Thank you for sending these in, Julie. That's great. Oh, I just love where it starts. It's an obvious thing, but you're probably going to have to scratch your head a little bit. What are the names of the 3 yellow properties on the board game Monopoly?
Marvin Gardens.
Gardens.
Ventnor.
Marvin
Atlantic.
Gardens and Ventnor Avenue are correct.
Yeah.
and Atlantic.
Atlantic is the other one. You all freak me out
Wow.
pretty much constantly. Wow.
wow.
Monopoly, right? The game that's just sort of like, this sounds like the greatest idea ever until 30 seconds into playing. And then it's just like everything goes to heck.
It's blood money at this point.
Little side note about our next question, because it's kind of cool. Do you know what the British equivalent of the American board game known as Clue is? What the Brits call it?
Pluto. Isn't it?
They call it Cluedo. Yes, they call it
Hmm.
Cluedo. And this is a question about Cluedo. Of the 11 rooms that are on an American Clue board game, Mr. Body's Mansion, right? 2 of the rooms were eliminated because they're not really into British culture. What 2 rooms were eliminated for Cluedo?
Mara's kitchen.
The bathroom.
The loo.
Oh, the bathroom is still there.
Oh, the urinal then. Oh.
No.
The basement.
Can't be the library. Can't
Oh,
be the
I'm
dining
giving
room.
this one to Sister Erin. One of them is the cellar, and so that I heard basement.
There you
room.
go.
Okay.
Heaven's Angels. Here I come.
No cellar.
Wow. The conservatory?
Without
No, that's
being
probably
too heavy-handed, There's a room that you would expect to see an American version of the game and probably not so much in a British version. I
What,
can't
the
think
da-
of any other way to put
Yeah,
it.
the
What?
bedroom.
Yeah, the Diane Manica driving
Oh.
range.
No,
The garage?
Yeah, the garage. I was gonna say garage.
no.
The garage
A
isn't
football watching man cave room.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Getting closer, but still not there.
Something like TV room. I was going there too.
the rumpus
Like
room.
the game
billiard
room. or
Rec
the-
room?
Yeah.
The
Getting
dining room. I can't
closer.
even remember the clue. The 11 rooms in an American.
Yeah, the pleasure pit.
I'm gonna
The
call this
conser-
one.
yeah,
The dungeon.
conservatory.
Mostly
Ooh,
because I'm
kinky.
afraid of what you're gonna say next, but I'm gonna make the call on this one. The original version of Clue had a gun room.
Of course,
Oh,
What?
jeez.
Really?
What?
Yeah.
because it wouldn't be America.
Yeah, that's like the Texas version.
I
Yeah.
had the
That's
revised
just the
version, 'cause I
American
don't remember
version.
either of
Yeah.
those.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
How come you couldn't shoot people in Monopoly? That would have been an interesting addition. And so American, right? We'll just combine making money with, shooting people.
Well, maybe
Oh
the
my
game wouldn't have
gosh.
been as long if you had
Mhm.
that
Oh,
on.
it's
I
true.
bet. See, that would have been a plus. That would have been an advantage.
Yeah, I can see it now. Community chest. Draw 3 bullets. I mean,
It could be like a duel.
Professors.
Like a duel. Like two
Yeah.
characters have to have a duel. And
The shoe in the
And
house will
bases.
duke it
Yeah.
out, right?
Professors, the Finns of Finland call this game Kimble. The British call it frustration. What do Americans call it?
work.
organic chemistry. Oh,
Did I
Concentration.
hear
Is
work?
it
Sorry.
Aggravation.
sorry?
Is it aggravation? No, sorry.
Operation?
No.
No, not sorry.
Not
Parcheesi?
sorry.
I could give it away pretty easily because it's the classic board game innovation.
the Pop-O-Matic? Something with a Pop-O-Matic?
Pop-O-Matic, yes.
Okay, right. I remember that. I remember that.
So,
So-
what was it? Trouble? Sorry?
Trouble is the name of the game.
That
was it.
Trouble,
Oh,
yes.
Now, was that the one with the little cones where you stack on top of one another? Was that it? Or
Trouble was basically sorry, but everything was self-contained because of Pop-O-Matic helps you pop the dice, right?
Hmm.
I can't remember that one. So.
Yep. And I can't let the word trouble go by without saying a quote, which now I realize after hearing in one of the more recent Marvel movies, I need to have framed and put in the chair's office in our department. Nothing lasts forever. Trouble, Miss Romanoff, no matter who wins or loses, trouble always comes round. That's all I can say.
Somebody saying that to the Black Widow, to Scarlett
That's
Johansson's character.
Nick Fury and Black
yes.
Widow. That's
Okay.
right. Professors, according to the Toy Industry Association, the most popular toy in the 1940s was a board game, one that I guarantee every single one of you has played at least once. What is it?
Checkers.
Mm-mm.
Shoots and ladders.
Nope.
Check.
Candyland.
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 That's the one.
Candyland.
Okay.
Candyland.
In the 40s, they were playing Candyland during World War II.
Well,
they were.
lots of Tootsie Rolls. That's all. So.
No, they
Well,
weren't.
you know,
Why-
sugar may have been rationed. Actually, one of the few things that I'm not sure, but you could think about fake sweets, right?
Mhm.
A lot of the classic pictures of candy in that look like grandma's cupboard, so that could be the reason.
Yeah.
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 You know,
Go
those
down
hard
the
candies, you
saccharine
pick up one and you
slide.
get
I mean,
10.
I'm only speaking personally here, professors, but this board game caught on like wildfire in the 90s and the early 2000s. It just doesn't seem to be around much
Trivial
anymore.
Pursuit.
What game was billed as the game for your whole brain?
Cranium.
Cranium was the name of it.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh, I love Cranium.
Yeah, Cranium's a fun game, but I haven't seen it around that much anymore. I don't know.
Real
I'm trying to-
Pursuit is a fun game too.
Yeah. It's the sort of thing that I think all the listeners think we do in our spare time. Oh, we're not recording a podcast about trivia. Let's play a trivia.
Oh,
game.
like we have spare time.
Who was the host for the TV game show that was based on Pictionary? Just to be clear, I'm not talking about win, lose, or draw. There was a TV game show called Pictionary. Who was the host?
Wait a minute. So it wasn't Bert Convy, was it?
Wasn't Bert Comby.
Okay.
He was kind of handsome.
He kind of was.
Actually.
Yeah, that
Drew
ca-
Carey. Somebody more modern.
How
More
about
like
I
an
go?
actor?
This is a classic, like triple threat kind of producer, director, actor, and he was the dad in Growing Pains.
Alan,
Oh,
what's his name?
Alan Thicke.
Yeah, it was Alan Thicke.
Oh, okay.
Diane and Dan kind of put it together. Alan Thicke was the host of Pictionary.
Sorry, I was going Michael Gross, but that was Family Ties,
That
right?
was Family Ties.
Mhm.
Okay, my bad. I knew it was
Remember
Family
our last show where we found out that Michael Gross was a rejected actor to play Doc Brown in Back to the Future, and all of us were like, that wouldn't have worked at all.
No.
Okay.
Not at all.
Professors, what kind of wood are the pieces of Jenga made out of?
Pine.
It's not pine.
Mahogany.
It's
Ooh.
not.
That'd be pretty
Ooh,
expensive.
expensive.
Acacia? Is it acacia wood?
Nope.
Ash, birch. What?
Oh,
Go.
How do you
How about I
Maple?
go right to the heart of the Harry Potter fans and say the wood that was used to make the most powerful wand ever was
Elder.
elder. Yes, elder.
Is that
That's
a real?
what Jenga's
Is that a
made
real
out of.
wood?
Yeah, it is.
I guess so.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And inside every Jenga block is a dragon heartstring. as well.
wow, that's impressive.
For the longest time, the world champions of this classic board game. So think more in the checkers chess area, less in the Candyland area.
Gotcha,
For the
gotcha.
longest time, the world champions in this classic board game have all been Japanese. What board game is
Go.
this?
Go.
No, it's not Go.
Othello.
Is it like the 5-sided checkers board?
It's Othello. Yeah, Dan hit it.
Okay,
It's
I was-
Othello.
I was-
Yeah. Mhm.
I was gonna go as nuns playing tug of war. So
Hey, that's the next question, I'm sure of it. And
This
the
is a good
answer would
one.
be
You-
Either Sisters of Mercy or Sisters of St. Joseph.
That's right. Exactly. This is the end of these questions from Julie Elder. Ooh, I'm seeing a crossover there.
oh, okay.
And thank you for sending them in, Julie. Pretty straightforward. Let's see if you can do it. There's a game that has 4 characters that not many people know the names of the 4 characters. Those characters are named Happy, Henry, Homer, and Harry. What board game is it?
What?
Hungry Hippos.
It's
Jumanji.
the Hungry Hippos.
Oh
Yes.
my gosh.
They had names?
Way to go, Michael.
They have names, and there's the
Ew.
voice of God for you right there.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Right there. Oh my gosh. Thanks for sending those in. That was awesome. Hey, professors, I always come with some spare questions here, and we've got a ton that our students sent in last fall. Dear professors, here's a list of questions about the geography of the United States. A passing grade is 7 out of 10. I love it. These were all in Jason Roach, our wonderful executive producers class last semester. These were sent in by Julia Croha. Julia Croha. Okay. Let's see if we can do this just an eensy-weensy bit rapid fire. How many United States share a border with the country of Mexico?
4.
It's 4. How do you know that off the top of your head?
I vaguely remember the map in the recording studio. That's all.
Typical.
Yeah, right about now we'd all be looking up, or for those of us with our back turned,
Yeah.
we'd be chiropractic disasters.
Texas, New Mexico,
Arizona.
Nevada.
California.
California.
okay.
Not Nevada.
Not Nevada.
Not Nevada. Okay.
I'm looking in a vaguely Manica-esque direction when I say, what states are at the 4 corners?
Whoa.
Colorado,
Colorado.
Arizona, New Mexico, Arizona, Colorado, New Mexico, Nevada.
Oh,
Wyoming. I think it's Wyoming. Is it? No.
Sister Erin got the first 3, but it's not Nevada.
Utah, right?
Utah.
Utah.
Ah,
Oh,
Nice.
But that's 75% of a full point,
It's a
Sister Erin.
passing
You're all
grade.
set.
We get credit.
You're all set.
Yeah. That's, I'll take it.
played a significant role in Breaking Bad. Well, not significant, I guess, but in Breaking Bad.
Exactly. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. What state has the nickname Land of a Thousand Lakes?
Minnesota.
Buddha.
Yeah. Even though, of course, Minnesota has over 20,000 lakes, And the great state of Michigan, of course, has a few big ones, but also has 15,000 lakes. So it's all a matter of relativity here. Goes back to a question we had in our last show. The question that's listed here is, what is the tallest mountain in the U.S.? But I'm going to tweak the question just a little bit. What is the colonialist name of the tallest mountain in the United States?
McKinley,
Mount
Denali.
McKinley.
Denali.
Yes. We call it
McKinley.
Denali now, going
Denali.
back to its indigenous moniker. Yes. Can't just name something after your boss to see if you can brown nose a little bit. It's got to do better.
What are
than
you
that.
talking about? When you had your house built, I christened it Mount Mayo over there. I mean, and then they leveled that. Now Mayo Manor sits over there. That's all.
I'm not sure that we have ever had this question before. This is a great question. There is only one state of the United States that is not Alaska or Hawaii, the freak states, that borders only one other state. One state only borders one other state. What is it?
Only one?
Maine?
Rhode Island.
You got it,
Maine?
Beth. It's
Maine.
Maine.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
right.
Good one.
That's awesome. That
Well,
is
it does
awesome.
kind of stick up there out of the, eastern half of
Middle
the
of
United
nowhere.
States. Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. Based on population density and overall number, what state is the least populated?
Wyoming or Montana?
It's
Wyoming.
Wyoming. Yeah, Wyoming.
Nice.
Don't bother visiting there if you're a candidate. It's just not worth your while. You're not going to be exposed to enough people, etc. Which two states share borders with a total of 8 states?
Ooh,
That's a big
Oh,
number.
wow.
Tennessee for sure.
Well,
Tennessee is one of
yeah.
them.
Kentucky?
Missouri?
Kentucky.
Mm-mm.
No.
Missouri, right?
Virginia.
West
Missouri
Virginia.
is the other
Yeah.
one.
Missouri.
Jeff just goes bing
Dang,
boom.
Jeff.
Yeah, that's
It's
awesome.
impressive.
Yeah.
That is
Nice.
awesome.
West Virginia.
Yeah, I was thinking that too.
Yeah.
Yep. We have
West
Tennessee and
Virginia.
Missouri. We got it.
Okay.
It was a very interesting little YouTube that I saw the other day. I couldn't help myself, Aaron. It was why, after the Civil War, West Virginia refused to remerge with Virginia to remake the original state. It's quite an interesting story. They're like, screw you guys. The end. Like,
We
No,
did
no.
separate
know what-
because we were like, screw you guys. We're the 55 counties that don't want to secede from the union. So why the hell would we join back up with you guys?
And
Right.
besides, we've already got all the souvenir T-shirts printed up. We can't send them back.
oh, jeez.
That's
Yes,
right.
of course.
I like we're not actually traitors to our country is pretty good.
Ouch.
Actually the way to go, right?
Yep.
What a great answer.
I guess I have to ask this one out loud, but it's on par with some of the worst dad jokes that I tell my students a couple times a week.
Brace yourselves.
Thank you, Julia, for professors. Do you know the capital of Alaska? Okay, I'm moving on from there.
Ah.
Where's my
Yeah.
hemlock? Where's my hemlock?
What is
That
the
is
total?
not a good way to die, trust me. Socrates would say so if he were still here.
doesn't sound like fun. Definitely does not sound like fun. Professors, what number of U.S. states touch a part of the Atlantic Ocean?
Oh,
14.
jeez.
14
that's-
is exactly correct.
What?
Oh, that's a
Oh,
And
that.
there it is, right there.
Wait a
There it
minute.
is.
we gotta end on-
Impressive.
we should end on that.
Oh.
Yeah, that's it. We're going out on a high.
Absolutely. That is awesome. That is awesome.
Nuns having fun with geography.
Yeah.
If only
have our
Ken
new
Jennings were
chapter.
here. And I don't say that because of the whole Jeopardy thing. He actually he refers to himself as a map head. The way he learned geography was like by reading maps when he was a kid. And I did that a little bit when I was a kid. And also I didn't win $20 million on Jeopardy. So we don't have anything in common. A Michigander might accidentally say that Lake Superior is the deepest lake in the United States, but it's not. What
Crater
is?
Lake in
It's
Oregon.
Crater Lake. Yes, Crater Lake.
Oh.
That's exactly right. Very well done. Very well done. Awesome geography, profs. You know what it means when we have a couple minutes left and I start flipping through my papers here, it's time for us to go to the Family Burrows list
Oh.
of Professor Imponderables. The
Mm.
Imponderables. The questions where we ask for a favorite or a special story from all the profs on the panel. And I'm going to go down the list a little bit here. Let's see.
Oh, Matt's jumping around.
I'm jumping around just a little bit.
Oh,
I
jeez.
don't even know how you want to answer a question like this, but what's your favorite decade? Either your favorite decade just to talk about, or remembering specifically having lived through it, or maybe you just have a decade you didn't live through that you think is kind of cool.
Mine is the one that the Republicans hate, the 60s.
The 60s. There we
course.
go.
I'm with Stephen.
If you remember it, you didn't live through it.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Of the decades I've lived myself, I guess I would say the 70s, because at least we got some fabulous music.
It's true.
But if it was a decade I didn't live through, I guess the 60s or maybe the 1940s.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Hmm.
I'm interested, Beth. Why do you say the 40s?
Well, not because war is such a great, well, we actually were fighting a just one, but the clothes and the music and,
Sure.
men dressed in a really classy way in the 1930s and 40s and had
They
great
wore hats. Yeah.
Women had these beautiful suits. Yeah.
I'm getting actually just a little bit there of a Captain America vibe from you, Beth. So I'm giving that a big thumbs up. Yeah, absolutely.
Hmm.
Dave.
I think I'm gonna have to go with the 80s just because that's when I graduated high school and graduated college.
Sure.
So I grew up, sort of, supposedly, legally.
Coming of age.
Legal, yeah. Yeah, legally I became a man, but maturity-wise, I think I de-evolved into an ape. So it's all good.
Chronologically, anyway.
Yes, exactly. So if you cut me in half and count the rings, I'm okay. So
Dan, it looks like you're cogitating deeply
I'm
there.
going to go with the 70s.
70s?
I mean, there are some things about the 90s I like, nothing pop culture related, but I say 70s.
Sure.
I feel like I'm at a major disadvantage here because I can only choose from
That's
the
right.
90s, the thousands, and the 2010s, and none of those are very good.
No.
well, you can choose the 2020s, and there isn't much. It's an unfinished story.
Well, okay. So
Ooh,
what
2020s.
historical decade sort of most intrigues
There
you,
you go.
right? Or appeals
So
to you?
I wish I would have been alive in the 60s for
Would've been
sure.
fun.
Yeah.
I would have chosen that decade.
Okay.
I was going to say something like, just pick your favorite Spotify channel, but now that you can't listen to half the music, it's like,
Yeah.
I'd say for music, it would be the 80s. But the one I'd want to live most in is about 530 BC. I'd be a Pythagorean.
Oh, there we go.
Nice.
All right.
Oh.
Sure.
It'd be worth
Spoken
giving
like
up
a
Yes.
meat for all that wisdom.
Like it.
Yes. That's always a favorite question for my students. Like, you guys do realize that the Pythagorean theorem would be true even if Pythagoras had never discovered it, right?
Well, Pythagoras
Like,
didn't discover it. It was,
Oh,
it was
well,
known
see,
in China
so-
at least 1,000 years before that.
Wow.
that
They
does
call it the
not
Zhonglu
surprise
theorem.
me. Ah, okay.
Okay,
They
come on.
did
What
Babylonians knew it before them.
Wow.
What about everyone
Wow.
else? Come on.
Back then, didn't
I
they?
know. What
Everyone
about
else
Sister
can call it
Erin?
Pythagorean theorem because Eurocentrism. Woo!
Yep. I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised. Well, we make up mathematical truths. My students tell me, I'm like, what universe do you live in? Not, I'm sorry.
Those are the ones who think we own the moon.
Probably like, yes,
Yeah.
so we could make 2 + 2 = 5 if we all just agreed, that's how it worked.
There was a book written about that.
I said earlier, I would choose the 60s again.
Yeah, that's
Aw.
good. Dan.
Nice.
That's good.
That was just a real favorite time of mine. I love the music and I came out of grade school into high school and graduated high school. Went to my
Yeah.
first big parties and dances.
Mhm.
You
Nice.
animal, you animal.
All that free love and the dope. And don't let me put words in
Hey.
your mouth. Don't let me put words in your mouth, Diane. By the way, we're talking about decades. I'm just reading a review. I'm not recommending it. I just read a review of a new book by Chuck Klosterman about the 90s.
Oh, okay.
Whole book about the 90s. I mean, the culture and the music and the
Right.
films and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
For any of you who chose the 90s.
Did anybody choose the 90s?
Dan said
I
some
was
stuff.
half there, but not because of anything pop
Yeah.
culture related.
Okay.
For sure.
Oh, wait, what? Aaron, what'd you
we haven't
choose?
heard
Yeah,
from Aaron.
Probably say for a time period I've lived in, I would go with not terribly eventful, but like the 2000s, like that's when the early 2000s is when I graduated from college, my first job, and like traveling and doing cool stuff. I was super active volunteer for the Obama campaign. So like his
Cool.
election
Awesome.
Okay, all right.
really huge for me at the time. I was living in West Virginia, which was also made it more enormous of an experience. So that personally, and if I had to think of a time, historical time, what first popped into my mind was ancient Egypt. And I just think
Sure.
that's a cool time. I'm not really sure if I would have wanted to live at that time period, but it just was a fascinating part of history. So that's
That's
just the
cool.
first thing. that
If
came
I
to
could,
mind.
if I could be in ancient Athens and actually, walk in the agora with Socrates and talk to Plato, that would be really freaking cool. That would be so awesome.
Yeah.
I want to wrestle Plato. I'll put him to the test.
That's well, that's actually what his name means, broad of body. That's
That's
not
right.
actually his real name,
Oh,
but
that's right.
he's such a good wrestler. Apparently, he got that nickname.
Hey, wait, Diane, when did you U of D throw the goalpost into to the freeway? Was that the 60s or was that the
Of
70s?
course.
Let me think.
That was the 60s. I'm
I
pretty
Was
sure.
it?
60s, yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Okay.
I marched with that whole group. And I made sure I marched down the freeway behind big guys so my parents wouldn't see me on TV.
Oh, Diane Manica, the
Smart.
stealth. Oh my goodness.
I love it. I love it.
Block the freeway.
I'll tell you what, that is the perfect image for
Indeed.
us to say goodbye on.
Protesting Diane Manica and Aaron McDonald, political operative.
That's right. That's right. Professors, panelists, the time
I
has
really
come
work
to
for the
say
CIA, but the nun thing is a cover story. I wasn't supposed to tell you that.
Oh,
That would be so cool. I mean, how awesome would
she's
I'm
packing heat
sorry,
in the habit.
folks. The
Oh,
time has come to say goodbye. Dave,
see ya.
Aaron,
Bye.
Stephen,
The
Beth,
bye.
Diane,
See you again.
Mara,
Bye.
Jeff,
All his number.
and Dan.
Goodbye.
And now these words from University of Detroit Mercy. Ask the Professor is transcribed in, all of our homes, but usually it's in the Briggs Building in the Department of Communication Studies in the College of Liberal Arts and Education at University of Detroit Mercy's McNichols campus. Ask the Professor is produced and technically directed by Michael Jason and Brian Masonville, and our executive producer is Professor Jason Roach. Until next week, I'm your host, Matt Mayo.